So, I'm going to take my seatbelt off and get comfortable with this one, but so I am just now about to get started on work, driving around for Uber. And so I have been driving at night lately, just because it's just a lot easier, and on the weekends, nights are a lot more money you can make with people going out partying and drinking and all that stuff. So you get the people like that. So you do get some interesting people that, you get some interesting people. Let's just put it that way. So I realized something whenever I was picking up one individual, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, this is just a hypothesis right now until I have more concrete evidence on this, but it's also the fact that I myself have done it, so I feel like this is valid information. So people that have lived excuse me, people that have lived in victim stance mentality for all their life, I would say, because victim stance mentality is not something that you wake up one day and you're like, yep, I'm gonna go ahead and take that one. I like that idea. I'm gonna have that thought. It's a learned behavior, right? I mean, for me, my mother is a covert narcissist, and everything was somebody else's fault. Me being an empath, and I use these labels to explain. I don't like to hone in on it. So, but I use these labels to give a better understanding. Me being an empath, I took on responsibility a lot of other people's emotions, and I took blame, a lot of blame for a lot of things. So I struggled with, and this sucks. I struggled with both extremes, where I was in victim mentality. I took on the victim stance while also taking more responsibility than what was really mine to take. And so I've realized, as I've slowly pulled myself out of that victim mentality, because it's not an instant like, I'm gonna step out of it today. No, it is a repeated process that you have to have self-awareness to be able to keep pulling yourself out of it, like reframing everything you say, everything that happens, owning it, but not all of it. So it's finding that balance of what's yours and what's not. And so as I've gotten more and more out of the victim mentality, and I've been, taking back more of my own power, but not taking all of responsibility, I'm realizing in the people that I interact with, different things. Okay. So I feel like people that have lived in that victim mentality are people that don't have, they're the same kind of people that thrive off of people pitying them. Pity is a drug, first and foremost. It is a drug. That energy is a type of drug that people feed off of. And when someone, and this is why, like in that prior video that I made about which one do you want, because both of them, both energies, pity and respect, are different energies. Some are more powerful than others. Pity is a quick fix. Pity is like just a relief from what you're feeling in that moment. Self-pity, you stay stuck in for a good while. And whenever you have self-pity, sometimes your own self-pity is not enough. And so you want it from other people. You want other people that whole pity, misery loves company saying. Like, that's the exact same concept. You will attract other people if you live in that self-pity mentality, that victim mentality. You will attract other people like that. And then it'll be just like a pissing war, pretty much. It's a back and forth of like, oh, my life is so hard. Like, look at all the crap that's happening in my life. Yeah, well, guess what? This has happened in my life, and look at like that. And, it's just a pissing war. It's a pissing contest, or, whose dick is bigger, kind of thing. Whose life sucks more. Like, let's play that game, You really shouldn't have to be playing that game. But the thing that I'm realizing is these people that are disconnected from their emotions are just circling around in that kind of victim mentality, self-pity, and wanting to take other people's energy, take that pity for themselves. And so they repeatedly tell their story, not as a empowerment, because there's a difference between telling your story as a means of, this is what I have overcome, and this is what's happening to me. Please, I need you to feel bad for me. There's a different energy that you emit when you do this. This is also why, like, I still struggle with telling my story, because I don't want it to come as a victim stance kind of like part of my story. I want my story to be in a different energy. So it's learning how to tell your story in a different way. But I'm realizing that these people are just, all they want is a quick fix. That many of these people are alcoholics, drug addicts, stuff like that, are people struggling with addiction, any kind of addiction. They're struggling with it. And so if you struggle with those addictions, you also struggle with victim mentality, because realize you think that you're the victim to life circumstances. And so these people are the kind of people that are emotionally, they aren't really in tune with their emotions. And so they're just kind of like in this repeat pattern. So the point that I was like trying to make on this one was the fact that I'm realizing that if the people that struggle with these addictions, and I mean, you can still be a sober person and still struggle with the victim mentality and still struggle with that whole life is unfair and look at all the bad things that have happened to me and all of that. But that's the thing, is for me now, I guess for me now, it's more of the fact that I just can't stand it anymore. Like, I can empathize with other people about that, and I can understand where they're coming from and what they're going through. I can, truly. I have been in those places. I have struggled with those things, but, and this is the but part, this is that, like, but I also have had to pull myself out of those places. I have had to, push myself. And I say push myself because when you're deep in those deep, deep, dark trenches, you are climbing and crawling and struggling out of the depths of hell, pretty much. And so when I hear people talking about this stuff, I will give advice, like, not really advice, but I give, like, I counteract, let's put it that way. So, like, if last night a woman was explaining her situation and I was throwing out, like, well, have you tried this? What about this? And I realized, she didn't like it. She didn't, she was pissed. Like, she was really pissed because I called her out. But that's the thing, though, is that people in that place need to be called out. They need a cold dose of reality and truth instead of giving them that little fix that they're wanting. And they, I've done it myself. I have been in that place. Sometimes you don't even know that you're doing it. It is a subconscious thing. It is so ingrained in your brain that you don't realize that you're doing it until you start trying to correct it. That self-awareness of trying to actually correct it. So it's just interesting, that these people, so many people will just be like, oh, you're right, just feed into it. But I'm just not going to be that person. I am not going to be that person. I just can't do it. Because I don't do it for myself anymore. Like, I have made excuses, so many excuses for, why I'm not here or why I'm in this situation, or, I've been that person. I have been in that victim mentality of life's not fair. And so I'm not where I want to be because of me. Because I am not doing what needs to be done, and I'm not taking action, or I'm coming up with some kind of reason why I can't do it, or what, I just don't have the time, I don't have the energy, I don't have, like everything you can think of. I can come up with an excuse. I'm good. Being a prior drug addict and alcoholic and victim mentality, I can come up with some good excuses. I'm really good. But that's not part of my values. One of my number one values, I would say this is like my top 3, is honesty. I grew up in a very dishonest environment. I was taught to lie. I was taught to hide things. I was taught to blend in. I was taught a lot of things. And that's not who I am. That doesn't align me with God and my ancestors and my Jesus and all of the people that are helping me with this mission that I'm on, my purpose. It doesn't align with them. And so I had to learn very quickly honesty, and brutal honesty too at that, which there's a difference between someone being honest and someone being hurtful just to tear you down. And so I think that a lot of these people need that honesty, but in a detached way of like, I'm not going to sugarcoat shit for you. I'm going to tell you that this is going to be hard, and that, yeah, right now things are pretty crappy. They are. But I've been through what you've been through, and I've pulled through. I can't give you the pity fix that you're wanting. I can't do that for you. I'm sorry. That's not who I am. Because I have been that person before, and when you give people that fix, they just keep wanting more. They keep coming back for more. And that's the thing, is the moment that you take that from them, then they get pissed. Then they get pissed because you're not giving into their addiction. You're not feeding them. And they need a cold dose of reality. Not like, let me tear you down and tell you how shitty of a person you are. Let me judge you. No, like, I care. I care so much that I'm going to tell you the straight up truth. And I'm not going to be mean about it, but I'm going to be really honest with you. That's where we need a lot more of that. And I know that she hated me. And, being an Uber driver, that messes with my rating. If she chooses to rate me a lower rating because of it, it can mess with my tips, and that's kind of my bread and butter, is making tips. And so it can mess with it. Like, it can really mess with my job. But at the same time, I don't want to go against my values, and I don't want to be that person to sit there and tell people, you know, that it's going to be okay, you know, you'll be fine, you got this. No, it's like, this is going to be brutal. I'm not the one to sit here and try and sell your sob story too. Sorry, sweetheart, it's not going to work. I'll tell you about my story. and then if we want to have this competition, then let me go ahead and give you all that I've been going through, so you can go ahead and put that into perspective, because sometimes that perspective really wakes you up to like, oh, well, my shit ain't that bad then, is it? But I'm not going to do that, because I'm not here to try and like make you feel like crap. But I will tell you the truth, because I've been doing this on my own. And so I have to be the one to call my own bullshit. Granted, my kids do, which I've given them that safety to be able to call me on my bullshit, which I truly, genuinely appreciate, because they are very honest and they will put me in my place. And I know that's a weird dynamic. I get that. But at the same time, it has built up a special kind of trust and respect between our relationship, because of the fact that if I don't agree with them, then it doesn't stick. But if there's something that I'm like, ooh, that could be true, hold on, let me calculate that one, let me like fill around with that one, ooh, yeah, okay, yeah, I can take it, wait on that one. But they also have to take it too, so I can call them on theirs and be like, hey, that's not cool, don't do that. And they listen and they respect it. Sometimes they don't like it, but, you know, who doesn't? Nobody likes when they get called on their shit. But I just wanted to post this video about last night, because it got me thinking about people that are in these places, and, you know, it has me curious as to, like, how to get them out. But I feel like the only way to get someone out is with I don't want to say loving truth, because it's not. I mean, it is in a way loving truth, but it doesn't feel loving in the moment. But kind, hard truth, I guess, is like a term I guess we could go with. Kind, hard truth. Kind of hard truth. But yeah, I just wanted to post this about that, because it really was something that I feel like more and more people. I'll be the villain. I'll be the bitch. I'll be that person if I have to be, because I care enough to tell you it straight up. And it's a nice feeling to be here in this position, because I wasn't able to do that for a very long time. Like I could not speak like this, because I had no voice. My voice, it took a long time to get to where my voice can be like this, because I couldn't speak up unless I was under some kind of like drug, in like influence of some kind of alcohol, drug, whatever it may be. And I didn't have a voice until I got so pissed off that I finally like reached my point, and I had to, my boiling point, my pain point, and I would then snap, and it would be very hurtful. Like I was so upset that I would say things just to be that hurtful person. So I am very proud of how far I've come to be able to get to this position of where I can voice exactly what I'm thinking and feeling, and be detached, as well as, you know, be kind but also honest. So it's a very beautiful feeling. It's a great feeling. So I am grateful for it, and I know that I'm going to probably piss I'm going to piss a lot of people off, let's be honest. But that's okay, because now it's just not that big of a deal. So I will talk to you guys later, and keep fighting, keep going, keep pushing, Keep surviving, keep thriving, do what you do. You got this, and I love you.